Osiris.
I got cheated. Oh no, put it all back here. What the heck?
I could get the Howl. ATM. What are ATMs? Those are the new missile. They're a new missile type, right?
They're a missile type, yes. Advanced tactical missiles. They're like
The
IORMs.
the Howl. So this guy says the Howl is good for one thing and one thing only: ATMs. But it's very good at ATMs.
Those are the blue ones that were kicking our butts the other day. The missiles with the blue fire.
I don't remember. It's a good Hag platform.
Oh, somebody's coming this way. Somebody's coming this way. Please don't shoot me. I'm innocent, I swear.
Is the scale shot a... What's the scale shot? The Viper. How big is the Viper?
Small or medium.
Medium. I don't want a medium. The Marauder 2C Dreadnought. I think the... So the Marauder Blight, I'll get that. And this one is the... There's another Catapult, Cataphract, Stalker, Highlander, Atlas, King Crab, Direwolf. I could get another Direwolf. Orion, Hellbringer, Kodiak, Adder. Mad Dog. I don't know if I even have any Uziels. Do I have any Uziels? Are they any good? UZI. UZL.
Okay.
I don't have one. I just need to get something picked so I can get out of this question mark. Vindicator. Well, let's start the stream. All these poor people sitting here waiting for the action. Here we go. What about a Zeus?
Warning. Main bay doors opening. Please
I
keep
don't
your
know.
hands and
There's
feet
an Eben
inside
Jag.
the vehicle at all
Prime.
times. Stream will begin
Probably just be
shortly.
another brittle laser vomit. Jaeger Mechs 65 tons, right?
Yes.
Are they pretty good? The M6A?
The Jaeger, that's the one I've been using, Jaeger Mech Duelist.
Is that the M6A or is that different?
No, it's the DE.
The Duelist. Oh, is that the one you've got the missiles on?
No, it's the 2 LBs and 2 UX.
Oh.
It's the one I run most
Dragon.
of the time, the orange and black one.
Yeah. I only recognize it from behind.
It's still
Uh,
orange and black. It says
yeah.
D20 on the back.
No, when I look at it after I fire, it's black and blue.
Yeah.
Centurion, I don't want that. Thunderbolts, Banshees, I don't know what to pick there. So this would be a... These are champions.
Drax.
Hello.
It's going
Hey, Drax.
Hi. It's okay. Things are going okay.
Cool.
What are you boys up to this afternoon?
I'm trying to pick some of the trick-or-treat free mechs, trying to pick one.
I am trying to deliver cargo in Star Citizen.
Champion. Let's see.
Okay, half my delivery.
Event champion suggestions. Let's go there. Hang on, I'll get started here in a second. I know you're not coming in probably, but Stormcrow, Catapult, Juggernaut. What are these? That's not helping.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
That's not helping. Summoner for energy. Warhammer 6D, solid laser vomit. Not helping.
I like this planet.
There's none of these are here. Oh, there it is. I'll get that. But I'm
Drax,
done.
did
I
you
don't have
see
to
the-
worry about it.
Did you see that there are 3 systems now?
Sorry?
Did you see that there are 3 systems now in Star Citizen?
No, I haven't been on.
That's why I was
Yep.
asking you.
No, so I don't know. But, it's going to be holidays now, so I should make an effort to start playing.
Tomorrow, I have an important announcement. Tomorrow, I'm going to be streaming from as early as 5 o'clock Pacific time till 9-ish.
Why?
Jennifer's gone. She said I should just stream the whole time.
Sorry, what?
She has a concert she's going to be at, and she said I should just go ahead and
Oh,
stream.
God. You just...
I didn't say she's
I thought
gone.
you meant she'd
And I wasn't talking about
passed.
Effie. No, my wife has a concert that she's playing for, and she'll be gone all that time. My mother-in-law
Yeah.
won't be here tomorrow, so I don't have to worry about her either. So I can just... I was going to work on the door that I've got to cut the door hole bigger, but she told me I should just play. So I'm thinking, well, maybe that would be fun.
From 5 p.m. That's crazy.
From 5 p.m. until 9 probably. I'll be tired by then, I'm sure.
I will be unconscious by about 5 p.m., but your time.
Is that when you go to sleep?
I take a nap because that's about the time my efforts from physical therapy kick my butt.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But
That's
I
a
usually
problem.
sleep about 45 minutes, so I'll be back soonish after that.
Oh, that's not
Where
bad.
is- That's not right. The heck? Terra Gateway.
All right, let's go to Drax. So do you have appointments you've got to do over the holidays, or maybe are you taking breaks at all from that?
No, I'm not taking breaks. I mean, I've got... I'm working next week, and that'll be that until January the 12th. But I did a interview this morning for a course I want to do, and I think I screwed it up.
You
I
did
don't
an interview for a course, and does that mean they won't let you
So
take the course
what
if
I'm
you screwed it up?
discovering is that in my profession over here, to get into further education, not only do you just make an application, but you have to sit interviews for them, which is very frustrating, to be honest.
What? Why would
Because
they?
in my first year, I don't compete with people in their 5th, 6th, or 10th year of working in this field. So I don't know, it's a bit frustrating. And I had an interview this morning for a psychodynamic therapy, a model called conversational therapy. It's a very modern psychodynamic therapy, and it's Australian based. It was created by 2 psychiatrists. One was British, one was Australian, back in the 70s. Anyway, I went for the interview this morning, and the major concern actually is just that you've got to hold a client for at least a year. So you've got to have a long-term client. And I mean, I've got some of them, but realistically, it's very early days, so I don't know if I'll be able to sustain it, but who knows. Anyway, I had my interview, and the guy that interviewed me, clearly highly experienced. I mean, he's really gracious actually too, but he was a lot older, and I can't describe it. He he had such an authority in his voice and such a presence. Jesus, it's like I felt he was seeing right through me, to be honest. It's crazy. Anyway, I wasn't used to that. I mean, I answered a lot of questions decently, and he said...
Kind of like me, is what you're talking about? Kind of like me?
Far more fierce than you, to be honest.
More what?
Fierce.
Fierce. What, you don't think I'm
Fierce, yeah,
fierce?
Oh, God, no. You can be really... in our private chats, you can be really, at the same time, gracious. You can be really...
Pointed or direct? I'm not that...
I don't know if
I try not to be too direct. Direct's not the right word.
It's sort of a mix of wisdom and confidence, to be honest with you, Dark.
Yeah, I think that's
But you're not fierce about it. You're actually quite...
No, yeah.
gentle
I don't
or
think that
sensitive.
pushing people over is the way to convince them of anything or help them.
Well, he wasn't doing that.
I
but,
know,
if he
but
thought I talked too
in
long,
my
he'd be
personality,
very
like some
deliberate.
people
He'd be
are
like,
real strong.
That's
like
enough,
that.
Anton. That's enough. Anyway, I asked him my magic question, which in my interview training with people years ago, I used to tell people, you've got to ask this magic question because it gets jobs. And it does. Like, it really does. And actually, it opened up a big further chunk of the conversation because I asked it, which was, do you have any concerns for me about this position? But in this case, I said, do you have any concerns about me for, regarding my application? And he actually did. He didn't raise it as concerns. He said, I get this about you, but I'm just wondering what else, because he talked about like why I'm really doing this therapy and stuff. And like, would I really be open to doing therapy on myself, or is it just based on the course?
Because he wants people that want to go through the gauntlet of the therapy in the course, not just take the course.
The other thing that he was quite telling was, he asked, would I be okay with a therapist of color? And I said, no, I don't care about that. And then he asked me, would I be okay with a conversational therapist, model therapist? I said, yes and no. I said, to be honest, it makes perfect sense to have someone who's the model you're studying, which is what he actually said to me. But I said, the other thing is, there would be a habit of me comparing the conduct of the therapist in the model, knowing that I'm studying the model. Like, I'd be ticking boxes about whether he's doing it right. And I think it would take away from the therapy. And I don't know if he was impressed by that or he was concerned by that, but that's because he was such a stern, stiff guy. But anyway, that's what happened to me this morning. So I don't know.
Is that when he voted you off the island, or did you get an answer? Like, did he say no, you can't do it?
He's not the one that decides, as far as I'm aware. He just gathers the answers and then someone else makes the assessment. Which I don't know. I mean, I'm finding that I'm up against a whole lot of better credentialed people in this industry, and
just to get more training. Like, how would you get more training if you don't already need the training?
It's the same dilemma when you're 18 getting your first job, Dark. It's the same stupid dilemma. You don't have enough experience. Well, how do you get experience if you don't give me the job?
Yeah.
It's the same BS. So anyway.
Yeah, but I thought education was supposed to be open to whoever can afford it, at least.
Well, it's limited seats. If they have X amount of applicants and only have X amount of seats available, they have to cull somehow. Anyway.
Yeah.
That was my morning.
Do you think they did background research on you and found out you're from Boston, actually, with a fake Aussie accent?
I'm really worried that they've seen your streams, yeah.
I know. My
dysregulation when it comes to doing giveaways, for example, would be quite telling against character.
Yeah, because that's got to concern them if somebody started trying, like, say a client, hypothetically, right? I'm not saying this would really happen in real life, although probably would. If a client comes in and in the middle of your session, they pull out a blank sheet of paper, are you going to get triggered and start, convulsing or having anaphylactic shock or something like that?
That's a hell of a chick to be up against.
It's more an eye twitch, really. It's just like this uncontrollable.
It doesn't sound like an eye twitch on this side of the speakers. Sounds like you're having some serious defibrillation episodes.
Well, that's how in shock I am about it, I'm so desensitized to actually what's going on.
Yeah, okay. Well,
start reading numbers.
So what's the difference? Like, what is conversational therapy versus regular therapy? How is that different? And knowing that you don't know since you haven't taken the course, right?
So psychodynamic as a framework is relational. So what that means is the therapist is as important, like the relationship between the client and the therapist is as important as everything, as is the dominant thing that's important, really. And what is going on with a therapist is as much important as what is going on with a client in relation to the therapy. So the experiences that the therapist is having is quite telling and informative based on what's going on with the client.
I'm not tracking what that means in an example. Like, give me an example of that.
No, so you get it in transference and countertransference is where it comes up. So your reactions as a therapist to the client are important to understand. Having the capacity to really read a client in terms of their micro moment-to-moment interaction. So the physical responses you see in a client are actually quite telling in terms of the direction of the therapy, moment to moment. So if a client is getting, looking away or starting to get twitch in the eye or starting to sweat, that is telling in terms of
They're hot and heavy at F4 line and F5 line.
regulation, and so therefore you might have
Hang on,
resolve
Drax.
in
I'm
terms of
getting
the dialogue.
plastered here for a second. You're gonna
Yeah,
have to
no,
back
whole
up.
shit's done in the middle
I
over
jumped
here.
up there, and there was suddenly 5 mechs having a crossfire on me.
That's right.
Okay, go ahead. Back up a
Danger,
little bit.
locking everybody. Keep going,
So,
man.
are you saying that the therapist, their skill set is, and attentiveness and awareness is more key or important than
Target spotted.
in conversational?
And we got a whole Lance Fox 4 behind us, you're right.
Well, the conversational is based on psychodynamic theory. I was just giving you a broader
Oh,
psychodynamic
okay.
Context. So basically, psychodynamic theory has essentially 4 major pillars, I guess. One is that unconscious and the internal conflict. So there's a lot of internal conflicts there.
Hang on. There's explosion. We're gonna have to wait because you're soft and
Going really
explosions
well.
are loud.
Okay.
After I get out of this, we're going to be dead soon. They've already killed 4 of us, and they're just kind of coming in hot. I've found no safe space. There's no safe space here. Half of us are dead. The other half just don't know we're dead yet. I'm smoking.
Fuel at 25%. Fuel at 0%. Target acquired. Interpersonal critical.
Yeah, I'm dead. There's 11. Oh, well, that was dastardly. Looks like another night of the same.
Warning, incoming missile.
They're just eating us alive.
Critical. Override shutdown. Warning, incoming missile.
Mr. Blockhead. See if I can turn you up a little bit.
Maybe we
too.
shouldn't have these conversations when you're trying to focus on playing Dark. Sorry.
Focus might be an overstatement. It would help if I turn you up. Okay, back up.
Control the target.
You're playing. You're playing.
Yeah,
Of course, he's playing.
he's playing Star Citizen. He's trying to egg me
Oh,
on into
okay.
installing it again.
Well, I've still got it installed. I just got to update it.
I need to install
So there
it.
are now 3 systems. So there's, so that's pretty cool because there was only 2 before, weren't there? Like there was 1, then they put the second one in, and now they've actually got 3. Is that what you're saying, Corsair?
Stanton, Pyro, and Nyx. Pyro's the bigger of the 2 new ones at the moment.
So they got more planets then?
Oh yeah. Planets, missions, the works.
Oh, thank God. Okay, it might be really worth playing
That's
again.
what I'm looking for.
All right, Dark, let me read you
Okay.
something, a very simple explanation. Psychodynamic therapy looks at how our past experiences, especially early relationships, shape the way we think, feel, and react today.
Okay.
A lot of our emotional patterns run automatically or outside our awareness. In therapy, we slow things down, notice these patterns together, and understand where they come from. That awareness helps you respond differently and feel more in control.
Okay.
That's a very concise way of talking about
Yeah.
psychodynamic therapy.
Yeah.
Right? The conversational model, a very concise way of putting it is, conversational model is a type of psychodynamic therapy that focuses on having a very attuned, responsive conversation. The idea is that emotional injuries often come from times when we weren't really heard or understood. In therapy, we pay close attention to your experiences in the moment, your feelings, your tone, your pace, so you can feel met, understood, and connected. That helps bring together parts of yourself that feel disconnected or overwhelmed. But if you really want to get into it,
and then how
basically-
does that help you identify the real problems and know what to do with them or alter your thinking?
Yeah, your
I mean,
framework is
I feel better and they
Like-
they hear me, but has that helped me? You know what I mean? So for example, some traumas that occur in early childhood is
the child goes to their caregivers because they're upset or they're looking for comfort or whatnot, and their caregivers aren't available at the time, or the way they give or respond to that doesn't fulfill the child's needs at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they grow up, and that unconsciously orientates them to see the world a certain way, to experience the world a certain way.
Yeah.
And as they grow up, they're gathering more evidence, but they're also shaping their responses as well.
Right.
So it's almost like they're creating their own pathway from those initial early
And
childhood
their
responses.
evidence is shaded or colored based on their
That's right.
past experience. Yeah.
That's
but
right.
still, that goes back to my question.
When you're being attuned in conversation with someone under these models, you're actually now replicating that sort of childhood need and parent or caregiver supply, if you like. But this time they're actually getting what they needed back then. So they're in the moment, they're actually getting the responses actually they were looking for, because you're so attuned, you're so with them in the moment. So it starts to, let's say, remodel the way, like heal that, and so potentially change. The idea is that it will change then the way they're responding in the world, because now their needs are actually getting met in the therapy room. That's a very blunt, probably not a full answer, but that's as much as I understand it to be.
Is it effective?
Yeah, psychodynamics, very effective. Yeah.
I mean, I would think it. Well, no,
yeah.
psychodynamics is, but what about conversational therapy? How effective is it compared to the other?
The conversational model is a psychodynamic model, and yes, it is effective. It's one of the premium models. So when it was created by Mears and the other bloke. One was Australian, one was British. They're both psychiatrists. I think Mears went over to England to work with him, and they developed this model out of it. And they worked with some pretty hard cases like schizophrenia, bipolar. They worked with like BPD. They worked with a whole lot of like asylum type cases.
Yeah.
And it was demonstrated to be effective. I mean, this goes back into the 70s.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get you anything.
I'm not like poo-hooing it. It's not like if I do counseling with somebody.
I know.
Of course, I want to model good relational interaction with them that they maybe have never had before, right? And of course, I want them to feel safe and comfortable, and I want them to feel like I care. And there's lots of things that remodel that stuff. So I get that in and of itself, that aspects about what you're talking about are valuable. I didn't hear anything in it about, well, how do you give them the tools they need to.
I get it, Doug. I get it.
Yeah.
You're not just being kind in the room.
I assume that.
Happening.
Yeah.
Right. The conversations lead to whatever it is eventually their early traumas actually are. Like,
so it just helps them kind of get into the place where they can even.
You're getting into the place where the trauma first formed.
Yeah.
And that can take the time it takes, which is not necessarily one conversation, right?
Yeah.
And then when you're in that space and it's very clear the client is in that space of that early trauma, you're then looking at their body language, the way they're responding, their tone, their pace. You're really understanding, like, if it's that pace, then I need to consider these things. If it's that body response, I need to consider these things. Like it's not just a blanket, I'll just be very attentive and listen and be kind and gentle with them. It's not like that. There's far more cues that you're actually responding to.
And then you have a branched logical course to follow to help go where you need to go from those cues.
Well, this is where I don't know that. Like, I'm assuming so. Like, what I learned from the ISTDP course when I did the two-day introduction course to it. What was really impressed upon me was there's like a red light, green light sort of idea here, where basically, if you see these signs, green light, you can keep on going. If you don't see these signs, then it's a red light. The client's getting dysregulated. They can't Like there's always a sense of uncomfortability-ness with a client when they're talking about trauma.
Right.
But if they're getting too dysregulated, and you've got to pick up the early signs of when they're starting to be, not when it's blatantly obvious.
Right.
You've got to ease back because the conversation's ebb and flowing, and those moment-to-moment instances matter an awful lot when you're in that conversation with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just gets you very sensitized to that experience of it. But if you want to know some broader ideas, I mean, conceptually, it's like, so psychodynamic theory basically says people often carry emotional conflicts outside of awareness. Fear, shame, longing. These shape behavior, perceptions, reactions in the present. That's to do with the unconscious and internal conflicts. Early relationships shape current patterns. These are sort of like the foundations to psychodynamic.
Yeah.
Attachment experiences with caregivers form templates for later relationships. So that's sort of the work you're doing. Defense mechanisms to manage distress. People unconsciously use defenses, avoidance, intellectualization, projection. So it's recognizing that that's in play. Like, so when you're in have a conversation, you ask someone what they're feeling and they go into a narrative, that's a self-defense mechanism
Online.
for them not wanting to experience the
Sensors
actual emotion.
online.
So they're
Weapons
used to
online.
talking about narrative, they're used to
All systems
intellectualizing, or they're
go.
used to pushing back on you, like maybe projecting onto you,
Eliminate all enemies.
instead of actually being with the uncomfortableness of the emotion. And these are all
Yeah.
sort of defense mechanisms. These are all
Well, and because they
things we
haven't,
do to
they've
avoid
only avoided
wanting-
the emotion for decades usually, right? And since they were
Well, it's
unaware
not-
of what
it's
was
not
going
just that
on in
they're
the first
avoiding-
place.
Yeah, it's not just that they're avoiding that initial trauma, they're avoiding feeling those feelings every time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
they've
what I
had
mean.
moments in
And
their
they've,
life
they've
that remind them of it.
generated
So
a,
they've never
a
processed.
auto response system that keeps
Yeah.
them from going there. Yeah.
That's right, very automatic, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the therapeutic relationship, which is actually the biggest thing around psychodynamic as a corrective space. Emotional patterns repeat in therapy, which is called transference, giving the therapist a way to help the client understand and integrate unresolved experiences. And that's pretty much psychodynamic. But what conversational model does, the conversational model is a contemporary psychodynamic psychotherapy designed to repair and enhance a person's sense of self, which is shaped in early relationships through attuned, responsive communication. Psychological injury often occurs when a person's emotional experience was not recognized or responded to in childhood. Therapy creates a relationship where the client's inner world is heard, named, and held in shared awareness. So you're bringing these things to the fore, basically. Many symptoms, anxiety, emptiness, emotional instability, come from disconnection with the self. Therapy aims to help the client develop continuity, coherence, and emotional regulation. So that's to do with self-disturbance and disassociation. Moment-to-moment tracking, the therapist actively follows subtle shifts in the client's emotional state, language, rhythm, metaphors, and tone. The goal is to restore emotional connection and keep company with the client's experiences. I don't know if that really articulates what you want, but essentially the major two principles of the conversational model are openness and experience, supporting the client to notice feelings safely.
They're pushing on the right down here, guys.
Helping the client make sense of feelings in words. Together, these promote integration of
So-
self-state.
Yeah, so
They're
all that makes
understanding
sense.
themselves.
All that kind of makes sense and stuff, but what I feel like is missing, and I know this is probably just not part of the counseling model, is actually giving them tools to help them reframe and understand things differently, and tools to react differently, and reasons why, and different understandings of the situation completely, right?
No,
And-
so in counseling,
and that none of that was
psychotherapy-
really mentioned in any of that. So like, how
No,
do
it's
you
not, but-
what do you do when you're doing any psychotherapy model?
Airstrike online.
Is
So different
so
models.
I get here. Let me finish the
differently.
question before I forget what it is.
Okay.
I've heard over and over again a lot of times, and I don't know if this is true. It's just like a stereotype, right? That you don't provide the answers. You just ask the questions so they can find the answers, and that's, I don't know if that's said right, but the gist of that is kind of the thing, and I get that that's good and valid, except some people, most people really, they don't even know where to begin to find an answer. They're still struggling with what the heck the question is. And then they don't have any innate or experiential basis to form a healthy, workable solution to their situation. So do you, as a counselor, give them those tools in your sessions at some point, or do you just help them try to find them themselves?
Target spotted.
So the component you're talking about falls under the umbrella of psychoeducation. So that's when
Psychoeducation?
you're giving psychoeducation, right? So basically, when you're giving explanations, you're giving what we call psychoeducation.
While I've been talking to you, I've been totally left by my team and didn't know it.
Yeah. So you will give explanations, for example, and then and I will say that other models and different styles. So there's psychotherapy and then there's counseling. You find within counseling, which is more symptom orientated, you're providing techniques, you're providing explanations, you're providing direction, you may even be providing advice. When you get into psychotherapy, it really is allowing a space for the client to work it out. But that doesn't exclude psychoeducation.
Okay.
But the form that
First, you want to
takes
figure
is
out how
definitely-
help them figure out what's really wrong before you try to help them figure out how to fix it, right? And to figure
Sure,
out what's
but
wrong.
Acquired.
Yes, but
Yeah.
the form that takes, based on the model you're using,
Warning, incoming
and how much
missile.
you do, is also shaped by the model that you're using.
Yeah.
So I will say that I don't know enough about psychodynamic conversational model to be like give you an expert answer in this.
No,
But
that's fine.
I'm wanting to learn it, dude. I
Right,
don't know.
right. Well, and ideally, you want to know as much about every type of it so that you can switch in and out as needed for who needs what, and how far you are along in the process with them. Then you go, oh, what they really need here is this, not that.
I'll tell you,
that-
I'll tell you
that
the
takes a
biggest
lot of
breakthroughs I've had.
Experience.
I'll tell you the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had with my clients, and I've had now close, I think definitely over 50 clients, but like hundreds of sessions now. I'm into my close to 400 sessions,
Oh, wow.
and I'll tell you the biggest breakthroughs that I find when I'm having with clients is when the client gets that I get it. So we're
Just
in
being
this moment.
heard.
It's not. It's more than that. We've reached an understanding together of what the hell's going on spontaneously, and at the same time, like we both have come to an understanding of what the hell's going on
Yeah.
in of all of it in that moment.
And
together.
somebody is with them in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Totally get that.
sometimes it's, and this is I need to develop further. I feel that sometimes it's more because I prompted. So we still get there, we still have those experiences, but sometimes I feel like I'm too rushed in prompting, but that's because I'm dealing with a client who might only be there for 6 sessions and not 13, for example.
Right.
So there's kind of
Right.
like, I feel like there's a hurry up thing to what I'm doing.
Right.
But I will say that in psychotherapy, it's not a hurry up thing. It's this is why people it's a very long process. It can take years for some people, which raises the question of, how valid really is it? Well, the client's paying, so obviously valid for them, but it is a criticism of psychotherapy.
Yeah.
But it's very deep work, and it's the work I want to do.
Yeah, I have a good friend that is a counseling, and he basically was taught and believes in most cases for what they do, which is going to be different, right? That if they can't help somebody in 12 or 13 sessions, they turn them over to somebody else. They refer them to somebody else who might be able to. My older sister, or I should just say one of my sisters, went to counseling, maybe still does, for 30 some years, over and over and over and over, and finally came to the conclusion that the core issues that she was going for didn't even maybe exist. And it took her 30 years to figure that out. That's kind of ridiculous. You know, so
Yeah.
I know it can be super helpful for some and super,
Well,
like,
I would
what a
argue
colossal
something
waste of
that-
time in that case.
I would argue something that the reason some people are in counseling or therapy is actually just to have a place to be heard, and it's not necessarily in order to get somewhere. So, for example,
Yeah. But I don't think that
some
was my
people
sister.
have come to the conclusion that
Yeah.
they don't have a neutral person in their life, like on all issues, for example, and they need a space in which they can talk to someone. And because it's no longer priests, so to speak, you know.
Well,
it
but
becomes
she had
therapists.
access to those things, and in her case,
Yeah.
some of those people were the people that got her off on the wrong track in the first place.
Well, I'm not gonna take away from your sister's conclusions and her experiences, and therefore, like, the conclusions you form off that. Like, that's.
Well, I don't
that's
know
her
that she would
argument.
agree with my assessment either. That's just my outside observer
Yeah, and
and
I
my
think
interactions
because
with it.
you're not
right?
you're not aware of the 30 years of therapy in terms of, like.
Of course not. Yeah, I just know that
like,
the
it's
primary
her
the primary
needs- her-
issue I'm very aware of, and we have talked
Yeah.
about multiple times. And
Yeah.
she actually then changed her story after 30 years.
Sure, but in those 30 years, the reason she was there and what she was getting out of it might have shifted too, because of, like, what she needed at the time or what she was realizing she wanted.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
what
I
developed
don't
and
deny that.
Yeah.
But
But
she
if it
had
was just a
other
measure of
avenues
was
available.
the core issue dealt with, then
No,
well, it seems
yeah.
to be like a waste of time then, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was a serious enough issue that it kept her from having good relationships with her entire family for decades. And it's really sad.
Yeah. There are some. I mean,
But I
personally
don't
think-
like paint all counseling with that brush. That was the outcome for her, and I think that was
I don't
much more to
know
do with
if-
her than it did with the counselors themselves, right? It's exactly
Well, the other thing,
her.
Doc, is that when you try and transform yourself after being in relationship with people for, say, decade, one of the things that's actually difficult is for the other people to see that transformation too sometimes, like initially too, right? So, like, and this is not a reflection on you and your sister, so please.
I know, I
don't
know
take
what
it
you mean.
away. But like, for herself, knowing herself and coming to sort of reach, like, or let's say this person knowing themselves and having it's a very subjective and also internal thing.
Yeah.
We really don't know what's going on with a lot of people and what their traumas are, and
Yeah.
they can tell you one thing, but actually there's quite far more going on.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
And the work that they do in therapy is private, and you'll never know.
Yeah.
So if you're
Reactor
only thinking
online.
of therapy as a measure of, well, are they no longer
Sensors
bipolar, or are
online.
they no longer
Weapons
schizophrenic, or are they no
online.
longer BPD? I don't
All
know if
systems go.
counseling or psychotherapy claims to cure those things.
She wasn't any of those things. She just
Sure.
believed something that wasn't true about
Right.
each of her family members, and they were different things for different reasons, and none of them were based in reality. And it took her
Yeah.
30 years to figure that out. That's kind of a slow path. And I get
Yeah.
that it's her path, but I feel like had she not gone to the first people she went to and got sent on this journey of recursive, childhood trauma that she ultimately decided she made up, she would have not lost 30 years of relationship with her mom and dad and 20 years of relationship with her siblings.
Why did you
And
feel
it-
like the therapy gave her those conclusions in the first place? Or fed them?
That was the path they were on, they were doing with people.
Target spotted.
They were
right.
like doing this, go back in your childhood to find what trauma was there. And I think she had some legitimate trauma, but it morphed into far more than it was in actuality. And then she found other trauma with each of her siblings that didn't exist. Like she totally made stuff up about me that was not true at all in any sense, and believed it. And I don't even know where it came from, other than her own insecurities and fears and stuff like that. It was just really wild. And it was enough of an issue for her that after she had not been talking to me for 10 years, she drove 7 hours to tell me about how I had hurt her as her younger brother when she was in high school, and that I had everything I did was to try to one up anything she did and be better than her, show that I was better than her at everything. And I had no idea what she was talking about. But it came from the fact that she was in band and liked it. And we were 2 years apart.
In what?
In band.
What,
in band in high school. And junior symphony in high school, which is an extra, like a citywide auditioned orchestra. And I was, when I went into high school, I was a very talented trombone player and singer, and so I got into the jazz band right away, and I was drum major, and
hear you somehow.
I was in the vocal jazz groups and in our own quartets and stuff, and I played professionally around town trombone, and I played lead trombone at a community college in their jazz band at the college level when I was in high school also, and was playing in studios and stuff. I never gave a thought that she was anything other than happy playing her French horn in the band, just like I was happy playing my trombone. Never gave a thought to that she would think I was trying to be better than her. I was just having fun playing my trombone and singing, right? But she had this whole concoction of intentional hurt on my part that I had tried to, show that I was always better than her in everything I did. And then she listed things that I had no, either sometimes not even any overlap in. And it was like a 3-hour conversation, and it's like, and what do you do? It's like that's her reality, but it's wasn't based in any kind of factual.
Yeah, that's like that. To me, that. So how I would explain that, and again, like this is just some guy in Australia picking up on a 5-minute conversation you just had with me, right? So take it with a grain of salt.
Target acquired.
This is what I'm talking about with people. Their systems orientate into being sensitive about stuff.
Yeah.
So
and it colors
interpretations
everything.
of minute things shapes their world, and also shapes their future reactions, which shapes the future
their world, right?
Which feeds everything, right?
Yeah, which is exactly what was going on with her, and I saw it, but I couldn't help her with it because,
that, to be honest, but that
what's
would
that?
explain 30 years of therapy to try and unravel all of that, because to even become actually aware of that for some people would be bloody difficult.
I know.
Righteous in all of it, right? Because this was their world that was formed in early life.
And it's all based on not reality.
This is what happened.
Well,
yeah, I mean, it's the same.
And coming to the conclusion that a lot of the stuff you believe isn't even real is a difficult thing to face, right?
That's right.
I get it.
That's right. How useful is it, though? I mean, that's definitely one of the questions I've
Well,
got.
it's very useful if you can do it, not so much if you can't.
Well, if it takes 30 years, how useful is it?
Oh, yeah, how useful is the help that she got? I don't know. It seems to me that she might have been able to get there faster with somebody else.
Or
like I could have got her there faster.
But I do think
than
your friend
any of
who
those
does
counselors
these
did.
13, like your friend who does these like 13 session things. This is kind of what we do here in Australia too. When it was 6 to 13.
Say again. There was explosions.
Your friend who sort of talks about how like after 13.
Oh
sessions,
yeah, 13 sessions or 12 sessions. Yeah.
I move them on, right? So we do 6 to 13 here, rather 6 anywhere from 6 to 13, and I kind of like it in the sense that it hones what the therapy is going to be about. Like this is the sessions you've got. What do you actually want to make it about? What are we working on? And I think that gives direction, and it also allows you to sort of measure how you're going or how you're tracking with it. You're not just sort of like meandering.
And I don't have a problem if somebody wants to do counseling with somebody for 2 years or 3 or 4 years or whatever, if they're feeling like there's real progress happening, I think that's great. Fine. I don't think there should be a hard limit, but I do understand the idea that if you're not seeing any measurable, directional change or hope at the end of the light of the tunnel, then maybe they need somebody else, right? I get that too. I think that's all fine. I don't have hard and set opinions about what it should be. I just would like it.
Well, you're not the one in therapy, so no. It's like,
well,
it's
right,
really up to the
right.
client and the therapist. I mean, it's actually
Right.
up to the client. I mean, they're the ones paying the money.
Yeah.
I mean, some clients tell me they don't want someone else because they're already this far in.
Yeah.
They don't have to explain everything.
And I think I'm pretty intuitive, like when I'm dealing with people, and especially in relational problems. So like I've been able to sit down with married couples that are considering divorce, and within 1 or 2 sessions with them, change their marriage and have them come back 5 years later and say, "You saved our marriage, and we're so happy now. Thank you so much." Because I can see between the lines of what the emotions are underneath the words pretty well and pretty quickly. But I don't consider myself a qualified counselor. I'm just good at relationships and good at helping people see things differently and see other people for what's really going on underneath. And I think a lot of people who go into counseling, I'm not at all thinking, actually, you seem fairly reasonably healthy. But a lot of counselors, and this is another stereotype, right? My sister, who had so many issues, what did she want to do? She wanted to go into counseling and help people with issues.
A wounded counselor.
Yeah. And she was like, I would never say this to her, but you're a mess. And I would not want you to give me any advice at all about things until I could see that you can see things in life clearly. And so I think
again, you're again phrasing counseling and psychotherapy as giving advice. So
no, I'm not necessarily. I think it requires, for me as when I'm counseling, which I'm not a licensed counselor, right? But as a pastoral counseling couples.
I mean, like the fact that the role that you had in your community, the conversations that were asked of you to have, I mean, come on. I mean,
it is counseling, sure.
Well,
but
on.
yeah, no, I don't deny that. It's just I'm not a licensed therapist or counselor or something like that. But
they didn't create a guild before your time. What did you do?
Right. What? Now I forgot my train of thought. Anyway.
Sorry.
That's all right. The train was about to go off the rails anyway, Drax. You might have saved us all.
But I do have that worry that I'm not interested in doing counselling for counselling's sake, and I'm certainly mindful of where my boundaries are with certain clients. So, for example, I wouldn't ever become a marriage counsellor, ever in my life.
Really?
I've never been married. And I don't think it's fair. I've had a couple of clients who were there because they were difficulties in their marriage, and supposedly I did a good enough job. At least I got that feedback from the clients.
Yeah.
Then one of the clients came back again, praising the hell out of me because he was dealing with a new problem with his daughter, and it's like there's a triangulation happening. And
right.
I just talked about boundary setting and creating an environment of respect within the household, basically, because it seemed like none of them were doing that. And then I sort of never saw him again, and there could be all different reasons why I didn't come back, but that one stays with me because I'm wondering, you know what, I really need to veer away from taking on clients who are there for marriage counselling, because I've never been married. I've never had a relationship longer than 3 years. I don't really think I've got the wisdom from the experience to be able to I don't think I should be doing that kind of work, and so I don't have those clients anymore.
Fair enough, but I think that marriages fail typically for 2 primary reasons: either issues over sex or issues over money, or how you deal with either of those. But ultimately, those mostly come down to the issues that you probably are well versed in by now, both through experience and communication, and education, which is communication, miscommunication, bad communication, lack of communication, damaging, communication. And so you actually would probably be pleasantly surprised how much help you could be.
Well, this is why I think I
that.
got praise, because it was often down to that as far as I was concerned.
Yeah.
But I have to say, women genuinely piss me off when it comes
That's probably
to,
a bad start.
generally piss me off when it comes to hearing the man's side of the story in the marriage breakdown, because it really is quite clear to me that they are speaking from a foreign language. Like, they're so emotionally attuned. Much of their way of being is dependent on their sensitivity to their emotions at the time, and a lot of their communication is actually based on emotions.
Yeah.
And men primarily, I mean, we'd like to deny it. We have emotions, sure, and they do affect us, sure. We're not really as sensitive as we should be probably to them. But our responses are far more typically logical. Like, as an average, it's typically logical.
Well, and
it is a mismatch. Like,
well,
and honestly, stories I hear when clients sort of come at me, this is what she's done and this is what she said. And you talk about, well, okay, but, do you understand how she was feeling at the time? And typically it's no, and that's actually been the core of the problem.
Right.
Because they've just gone defensive. They've just been in their heads and not in their partner's heart, so to speak.
Right.
But,
right.
God damn, man, it's hard work. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, sorry, Doug. This is why I'm not married. I mean, no thanks. I'm not signing up for that crap.
So one of the things that I realized about women right away was that we tend to brand their thinking as illogical and not rational, not.
No, I don't say that. I don't say that.
But we tend to think, generally that's the stereotype, right? But what I realized was they are very logical and rational within the framework that they're swimming in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so the trick is to get the guy to realize that they're just as logical and valid of a viewpoint as themselves are, but it's a different framework, and they have to learn to hear and understand and navigate that framework.
Yes. I completely agree with that.
You just don't want to do it.
I think I feel I cottoned on that too early, but I honestly think, as I am a man.
Yeah. Who wants to do that? Yeah. It's
goddamn hard.
Oh my gosh.
I just, it's just painful. It's just fucking painful. So, and I think with that attitude I have, it's not really fair and right for me to be counseling people in relationships.
Yeah, fair,
I mean, I have, and apparently I do a decent enough job. I wouldn't say I'm up there by any means, and I certainly don't have enough experience to be in it, but I don't know. I just, I don't want to do it. Although, gotten onto a niche area, divorce counseling.
Oh.
That's a niche area. It seems like in America you guys have a thing called divorce coaches. We don't have.
I don't know about that. Do we?
Yeah, you do.
People that are helping you get divorced, like we need that already?
No, they're They're helping people navigate everything that comes up around it. Right?
Okay.
So it's not go after the money and all this kind of nonsense. Or potentially it might be. It's like, I've got a client now who's going through it, and her husband just going for the jugular, and it's so unfair. And she's been the submissive one in the relationship. I don't mean completely submissive. I mean, it just means that she's daunted by his exertion of power and influence with others and in her marriage. And so I've had to help her.
That's terrible.
Reshape all of that, which I think I did a good enough effort, but she's still dealing with just the financial separation. She's still going through that process in Australia financially.
It's really
separating,
bad.
and he's making it hard work. But
a good, I always feel like
giving someone the knowledge to navigate the divorce process is not actually what happens. Like, a lot of people are left to their lawyers, and if their lawyers aren't communicating that, then they don't know. So there's a few things that have happened to her that sort of like she didn't realize that if she got a valuation of the house, that would trigger the need for all the houses to be valuated, therefore delaying the arbitration, therefore, feeling the continued financial pressure. Like, there's stuff like that came up that I would have thought the lawyer would have told her about. But the lawyer basically
didn't.
didn't even think that would be necessary to talk about, so didn't. And therefore she's triggered this event. And so apparently, you know, like a divorce coach is a very niche thing, and given
Wow.
the divorce rate in Western worlds, might be quite lucrative, to be honest,
Yeah.
and helpful at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a win-win for you and for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always think that a good husband is someone who is primarily interested in the flourishing of his wife,
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
right?
Sometimes
Because it
it's
only
about
hurts him
capacity,
if he's not. It only hurts him if he's not.
Yeah. And vice versa. Like,
Sure.
that's what you want as a partner. You want
Yeah.
your partner, therefore both, to be interested in having each other flourish.
Yeah.
And that's the key. Anyway, we're rambling here.
We'll just let Corsair fix everything.
No, 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 no. No, no, no. Absolutely not.
I've always thought it'd be
Online.
good. We were always working with youth kids and college age kids and young marrieds, but we never
Systems nominal.
were able to do this. But I always thought it would be really helpful, but a strain on our family, to have couples that were having trouble come and live with us, so we could directly interact when they're speaking or acting to each other in a negative way, and interrupt right then and say, okay, instead of this, try this, say that, see what happens. Right? Just stop it right there and model it for
It's like
them,
an
and then
SNL skit.
let them
SNL
practice
skit,
doing it to each other right then and there. And I'll bet you could
Yeah.
you could radically change
Marauder,
difficult marriages in months, just a couple months.
No,
Totally change it.
I think
Hey, it's
you'd
not
be
my
doing
fault,
the
guys.
cults. That's what I think you'd be doing.
No, I wouldn't let him
fine.
stay with us. It might be my idea, though.
Say that now. Next thing you know, you're buying your neighbor's land, and you're
I
buying
know,
your
right?
neighbor's land,
Yeah,
and you're
building
doing
lots
a-
of barns to store all the cars
doing
they've
it
donated to
fast.
me.
Sister, brother, husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you create
Oh,
rules like
man.
only I can sleep with the women. Yeah, I get it, Doc.
There was a church I went on staff up in Spokane, and I got up there, and I was the associate pastor, so that meant in a small church that means you're the second in charge, which means you're not really in charge of anything, but you're responsible for leading worship, helping with anything the pastor can't get to, the senior pastor can't get to, doing the youth and the college and the young marrieds and the cleaning the church, doing all the computer tech support because you could, and anything like that, on and on and on, repair work and stuff like that. So small churches, you just wear lots of hats. And
Target
anyway, what was that about? And here I'm in battle again. I can't remember what I was talking about.
Setting up your cult.
Oh yeah. So and I'm sitting there. I met with the senior pastor every Monday morning. We'd get together and we'd have a staff meeting. But before that, we just pray in the sanctuary together, just about just different things for the church and stuff, and different people and things like that. And then so he told me that church had gone through a thing about 20 years ago where they got this
target destroyed.
kind of cult-like teaching from one of the pastors that was there, and it basically taught that there's your spouse, but there's like also a soulmate. Like everybody might have a soulmate, and that this soulmate is kind of like when David and Jonathan in the Old Testament, he loved him more than a brother kind of thing. They had this great relationship.
Critical
But
damage.
they kind of leaned into that, and they encouraged people to have these soulmate relationships, which of course then meant that they had large numbers, hundreds of couples blow up because they were starting to have affairs with other people. It was a mess. It's like, whatever.
I'm wary of experts, Dark. Like, you need experts because, you've got a problem, you want advice, you want a solution. But I'm really wary of the relationship between experts and long-term
New
clients,
target
because
acquired.
what tends to happen is they rely so much on the expertise that they just adopt your way of thinking, and I mean that's a perfect example of it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you know, you're
Well,
turning your
and
expert
especially
into
if the
a
expert is
New target
wacko.
acquired.
yeah, you're turning your expert into a prophet, and that's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was
Easy to do.
terrible.
Easy to do.
Well,
really,
yeah.
like,
New target
Especially if they're
Fragile
a congenial, personable, strong leader, charismatic
yeah, and
leader.
you're feeding on
New target
the person's
acquired.
fantasy of what they would like. Like, I don't mean it's
Yeah,
necessarily a deliberate,
yeah.
although the cult leaders are.
Yeah.
But there's this notion of when you start
New
talking about
target
soulmate that
acquired.
feeds
Yeah.
into that person's idea of the perfect and what they've
Yeah.
always wanted.
Yep.
And then if the other person isn't matching or showing up like that, well, then you mustn't be my soulmate.
And so you
I'm
start
feeling
focusing on the
for this
soulmate for
person.
some strange reason. That's a shock. Yeah, it's crazy.
Target destroyed.
It's the same reason I'm not down with people who are polygamists and stuff like that. I think,
Yeah.
you know, if it works for you, good on you. But
Well, and that's also, it's the exact same problem. That's why I worry about people who watch my stream, because there's a tendency to idolize me, right? As a great mech warrior and
Target
hero of the inner sphere.
Not as an
That's
MWO
got to be
player, there isn't.
it's got to
No
be
way.
hard. It's got to be hard for people to, especially younger, newer players. That's like they see me and
So easy,
I'm
Doc.
streaming,
They just
and
look
I
at you
have
over
I
and
have
get
I have a
down.
follower. I have a follower on my stream. It's like they're just getting in line with the other follower.
Oh God. Okay, you're putting tickets on yourself that don't exist, Dark. Like that. You know the what's it called? Delusions of grandeur. Yeah.
No, I mean I've got verifiable evidence that it's true. I mean, after all,
Target destroyed.
that's right. Voice of the pirate captain of Hired Steel 2 and 4 movie star.
There's literally only two people in your stream right
I
now,
know.
Dark, and that's
I know.
me
And
you.
one of them's not even
So-
really here. He's just kind of off to the
I can
side.
assure you, I don't worship the ground you work on, Dark. As a player, I don't.
I got 5.
I'm
Well,
sorry to do that to you,
Give it
Dark.
time. Some conversions take a little longer than others.
On top of
That's
the
so
normal
gold.
service position.
I'm glad you saying it with a
Target
tongue in
acquired.
cheek kind of attitude. but imagine if I was talking to a player who actually thought that about themselves.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Especially with one follower.
I'd ask you to do 3 hours
Well,
with Jay-Z.
I think Dark is maybe just really good at pretending
Target destroyed.
that he's not really believing that.
I have a vivid imagination.
He'd really like to believe it.
Yeah.
Like he'd really like to believe
It'd be nice if
it.
it was true.
It'd be nice if it
When-
was believable.
When he signs off for the night, he goes into the special room he has where he can like throw things and yell and scream and stomp.
Or just cry
Isn't that
uncontrollably.
where Squirmy is?
Yeah. Yeah, I crawl underneath the house and lay next to Squirmy's dead
Hey,
corpse.
we haven't seen Swimmy in a while. What's
I
happened to
know.
him?
I don't think I should ask.
Dark.
It's not my fault.
Doc.
Well, I can neither confirm nor deny that he was last seen underneath my house. He was last seen by me when he was under my house, but I don't really know if that was the last time he was ever seen.
Well,
I don't know what he's
actually-
up to. I should probably reach out to him. He's probably working and, being like a young adult and living a life or something.
Well, please do, and let him know people from your stream have thought of thinking of him, because he's such a
He's a good guy.
He's such a lethal wit. It was actually quite good. Like
Yeah.
he'd act kind of dumb or kind of like nice, and then out of the blue there'd be just this well timed
Knife in the back.
Whammy, what the hell was that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I'm down. I'm just like 5 pips away from tier 2 now. I've gone all the way down from the very top of tier 1 down to the very bottom.
You know what I'm actually missing, Doc? I'm missing those days with Valen, you, me, Corsair, and Hellbringer.
I
playing
know.
MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries.
I am
mean,
going to
for
install
all-
it. In fact, here, I'll stop playing this now. Dun, 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 and
Ooh, and start the install.
I'll start the install. No, I think I did the install. I haven't looked for the
I haven't.
the joystick
I
settings
haven't
and stuff.
installed it.
Yeah, but
I didn't
it'll
install
it'll
the
take you a
material.
lot less time than it takes Dark.
Yeah, that's
No.
right.
Well,
That's right.
Okay. No. The install will take him a lot more, like a lot less than my.
He's
my
already
install.
installed it.
But,
I
but my
have installed it,
capacity to install
but I
it
haven't gotten any of the DLCs or any of the
Oh,
add-ons.
Neither do I.
Okay, let me do the outro here. Hey, everybody watching the stream, all one of you, thanks for hanging out. This has been Ghostlands, your therapy-free zone. Nothing we've said here tonight will help you in any way. That's why it's therapy-free. Till next time, be good to each other, take care of each other, and be sure to shoot each other's designated targets, which might be somebody's back. It's hard to say. Good night, everybody.
hey, Drax, look at my cast, whatever, stream.
I am. I've been looking
Oh.
at the whole time.
So this is the gateway to the other system. It's far. Oh, it's going to take me a while to get there.
So Pyro, that was the second system, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that came out and there was this whole thing you had to go through, like a burnt out station or something, from memory.
It's a wormhole,
That's a wormhole. Okay.
I think.
You're not in the wormhole yet, are you?
I've never been here.
Oh,
So this is
Oh,
my
okay.
first time going here too.
Have you actually
me
ever
look.
seen a worm in that hole, or are you just guessing
No,
it's a wormhole?
I've never been there yet. I think you have to fly through its mouth. It's like that big worm in Star Trek, the original series.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm just making things up at this point.